I wasn't trying to hide anything.
Honestly, Hardy, I can tell that you feel bad.
It was either he kills me or I kill him in that situation. So I just did what I had to do. It's not right because I love him.
Meet 25-year-old Hardy Robert Traxler. Mere moments before this, police arrived to find his home set ablaze and engulfed in flames with his father Bruce still inside.
Sheriff's office! Hello, is anyone in there?
By the time anyone reached Bruce, it would be far too late, with Hardy now believing that he can get away with it all.
I told him, I'm going to save you. And once I did it, we were both saved.
Detectives have no idea that sitting in front of them is a psychopath, one that hides much more than they could have ever imagined.
But I know he's happy. That's all I know. Hell's a scary place, especially when you live with it.
At 7:18 in the morning of January 24, 2021, Deputy Bryan Dauk's squad car pulled up to a rural property just outside Le Center, Minnesota, where a building behind the main house was completely engulfed in flames.
Embrace our fire, embrace our ambulance. When you're on speed, if you can push over to LS2, please, LS2. Copy of 722.
Copy that. We'll be switching to LS2 on the scene. Hello, is anyone in there?
The building burning was actually a converted shed with living quarters inside, sitting on family land that included a hunting preserve. And the man who lived in it was 64-year-old Bruce Traxler, a disabled former truck driver whose family had already told the 911 dispatcher they feared he was still inside. But Bruce didn't live in that shed alone. His 25-year-old son, Hardy Wills Traxler, had been staying with him, with the two of them sleeping just feet apart in the same room. And at the fire line, deputies got their first clue about where Hardy was. A fresh trail of tire tracks in the snow, right where he always parked his gold 2007 Toyota Corolla.
And we don't know, but this is their track right here. We tried to take pictures, that's why we were running out there.
So we don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe they're both in there. Somebody drove out here after the snow at night. And there was tracks that kind of almost went in ditch and then left.
Firefighters worked the blaze down through the morning, and less than 2 hours after that first call, they found human remains inside the shed. The body was identified as Bruce Traxler, but shockingly, it's not the fire that killed him in that shed. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner ruled his death a homicide caused by wounds to the chest and the abdomen. The family told deputies that Bruce and Hardy hadn't been getting along lately, and Bruce's brother Jeff put his suspicion plainly, saying that Hardy did something. Suspecting the fire was connected to a homicide, deputies requested assistance from the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. But investigators didn't actually have to hunt Hardy down, because all across southern Minnesota that morning, Hardy was doing something no one could explain. He was pulling over again and again to confess to complete random strangers. The first was a snowplow driver named Nicholas Fuller in Mankato at 8:50 a.m., and this is what he would tell the detectives.
So he rolls his window down and tells me to come over there, and I said, I didn't. And he tells me that he just killed his dad. He said his dad had him for 25 years, and I just killed him. And I was like, I double took at him, and then he told me to, the order of which this came out, because he's repeated himself a few different times, but he said that the Antichrist is real, that I needed to tweet Trump, and that's when I kind of just thought, whatever, you're crazy, I don't you're just randomly going around, with this crap, and I didn't really think much about it. And he's like, no, I'm serious, for real, come here, I need to show you something. And I'm like, dude, you need to leave now, you need to go, and so that was pretty much all that happened. It was really quick. He kept trying to get me to come to his car, and I know that right away was like, what is, I didn't know what he wanted to show me. He was reaching in the back seat. And that's part of why I was like, there's something more to, well, just a crazy guy. I don't know. There's something more to it because he was trying to get me to come to his car. And I was like, that's odd. Okay. But then I went into the CHS, and that's when I called 911.
Nicholas Fuller's report prompted law enforcement to issue a statewide alert for the gold Toyota sedan, but Hardy was just getting started. At a grocery store, he handed an employee, Brittany, a hand-drawn portrait of his father, and then he talked at length about a demon whispering in his ear, and left her with a sentence she would repeat to investigators word for word.
Then he started mentioning that he has a demon that whispers in his ear and just whispers Biden on repeat. And then handed me a drawing, I guess, of a guy. He didn't say the name. He did say, this is the man that's been feeding me pills every night. And then I handed the picture back and said I couldn't help him. And then he started to leave out the same door he came in, turned around and asked if we had face masks. So I directed him to our customer service area. And then he came back around the front of the store and then walked to the front of the store. I followed behind him and told our front end manager about my interaction with him. And then they called another manager on duty, and they just kind of watched him leave the store. Okay. And that was essentially the end of it.
Okay. Did he ever mention anything about killing anyone?
Oh, yeah, he did. When he handed me the picture, he did say, even though I loved him, I had to kill him.
Just before 1 p.m., out on Highway 60 in Whatwin County, Hardy flagged down 2 men on snowmobiles and gave them the longest, most detailed version of his confession anyone would hear that day. And by this point, a disturbing pattern was starting to emerge. Hardy was making increasingly delusional claims across the town and giving different people different pieces of the same bizarre story. Minutes after leaving the snowmobilers, he threw his knife, the murder weapon, out of the window somewhere along Highway 60. And despite Hardy later telling investigators exactly where to look, it was never recovered. What the snowmobilers did recover, sitting in the snow right where his car had been parked, was something far stranger. A copy of the Bible, spattered with blood. It seems impossible to explain, but before the day is over, Hardy himself will explain it. The snowmobilers called 911, and by 1 p.m., a Blue Earth County deputy had spotted the gold Toyota near the intersection of Highway 169 and Highway 60. Deputies conducted a high-risk traffic stop, and the driver was identified as Hardy Traxler. He was taken into custody without incident and transported toward the LeSueur County Justice Center for questioning, but not straight to an interview room. Hardy was complaining that his father had injured his shoulder during a fight, and since that claim was about to become the foundation of his entire defense, deputies first brought him to the hospital to have it examined. It's there that they got their first real look at what exactly they were dealing with.
Dude, you need to sit down, Hardy. You need to sit down, please. Please, you're safe.
You're gonna kill me.
No,
you're gonna kill me.
No one's gonna kill you. No one's gonna kill you. We just need to have you sit down so the doctor can look at you.
Thank you guys if you are actually, I'm just scared. Scared. I mean, I never meant to kill my dad. It was a special gift curse. Slash, but it was the fact that, I had to save him. It was one of those things where, he wanted to be saved.
It isn't quite an alibi, nor is it a denial. Hardy genuinely seems to be on a self-appointed mission, save his father's soul by essentially killing him. That afternoon, Hardy was brought to the LeSueur County Justice Center from the hospital, where an investigator from the sheriff's office and an agent from the state sat down across from him. And if watching killers like this talk themselves into a murder charge is something you enjoy, subscribe. It's literally all we do here.
So we're trying to investigate incident that happened last night, right? To get all of the facts in the background, right? And that's why you're brought in here, right? And yep. I just want to tell you right out of the gate, we're not here to interrogate you or strangulate on you or make your life uncomfortable, okay? We're not here to.
You're good guys, and you've been treating me very well.
And we're going to continue that, I promise you, okay?
I'll tell you one thing, it was just him, There's nobody else.
And if there's story, I want to get that from you, right? That's what I want to know. Can you just tell me kind of, I don't know you, give me a little background. Are you from this area your whole life? And where, you live?
So. I mean, ever since a kid, I think I might have been born here or in St. Peter. I don't know
Okay.
exactly which town.
Okay.
A lot of traumatic events, so
Okay.
possibly, you know. But as of late, you know, my dad has been being weird, and just him in
Okay.
general. And I don't know, just gaming and all that stuff, giving me technology, and then I just decided to burn it and go on a cruise and drive, come back, and it just got weirder.
Okay.
Like, just real weird, like, and I got scared.
Sure.
I got scared, man.
How about your mom? What's her name?
Gwen Wills Traxler. When I was younger, she tried killing me and my brother.
Your mom did?
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
4th grade.
Oh, that's a tough deal.
Hardy's background starts filling that in fast. He describes a childhood so unstable that he claims his mother tried to hurt him and his brother, after which he was raised largely by his aunt and uncle. And in the past couple of years, he had finally moved in with the father he had spent most of his life apart from, into a single shared room, in a converted shed, in the middle of nowhere. According to Hardy, his dad had recently been acting weird, which is interesting because that's the same word Hardy's half-brother Josh had used that very morning while talking to officers about Hardy himself.
Well, he's just been showing up, and to me, he was acting extremely, like, on a high, like, that I've never seen before, just totally not himself, trying to make all these changes to better himself in any way he can. He's been going to church. He burnt his Xbox the other night and a phone because he's trying to get away from that. I feel like he's always, held that as resentment towards himself to, I don't know, that it was held him back from being a good person or whatever he thought in his head. I don't know, but was definitely in a very manic episode for several days on end. He would show up and he was telling me he's been talking to God and God is trying to help him. And he mentioned to me a couple times about, he told me he was snorting his Adderall, snorting up to 17 pills at a time is what he said. And he was lucky to be alive. And he kind of mentioned something about, wanting to kill himself. And, he didn't deliberately come out and say that, but that's everything I was getting from him. I could tell he just wasn't in a very good state of mind.
And the family didn't just watch it happen. 3 days before the murder, Josh got Hardy into his truck to take him somewhere he could get help. Hardy jumped out of the moving vehicle at nearly 30 miles an hour. When investigators ask Hardy about that night, listen to the reason he gives.
He was just angry, and I just told him, stop, and I jumped out of the truck. And
so you were with him in his vehicle?
Yeah. He tried taking me to a psych ward, and I was like, I'm good, bro. I was actually good. I mean, I wasn't on anything, or might have had a drink or so.
Okay. So you guys were in an argument where he wanted to take you to a psych ward, you didn't want to go, so you just kind of got out of that situation. Then that was the last time you talked to him.
I almost broke my leg jumping out of his car because I didn't feel safe.
He didn't feel safe with his own brother, driving him to get help. By this point, the paranoia wasn't aimed at anyone in particular anymore. It was aimed at everyone. In the next interview, his grandparents, Dale and Joyce, described that they saw the same thing just a day or two before the killing, when Hardy showed up at their house mid-spiral.
Well, Hardy was in the house standing right there. Was that the night it happened?
No, a day or two before.
A day or two before. I think it was closer, but something was wrong with
Hardy.
With Hardy. I mean, he was talking a little
way out, and he was going to change. He was going to leave. He was going to go and move someplace else. I said, I think that's a great idea. That's wonderful. Get your car packed up and go do what you want. But he was overboard on it and repetitive. And we were going to go to Mass that morning, so he even came with us.
To Mass in Lee Center, he did?
Yeah.
That day, Hardy did something he almost never did. He went to Mass with his grandparents, then came back the next day clutching a Bible and talking about walking with Jesus. And that same Bible had already made another public appearance. 2 days before the murder, Hardy carried it into a bar, and he claims he started giving money away. In his interrogation, he confirms the whole scene himself.
Did you have like a bunch of cash with you, or how are you paying for gas and food and all this stuff, or do you just, you know, bartering or asking people for help?
Oh, I had $500.
Oh wow!
And then I only spent like 200 of it when I got back, and I literally gave $300 to one of the bars when I got back. Before I even showed back up into the center, I was like, "Here's $300." My dad said, "Why are you handing out your money like that?" I'm like, "Well, it doesn't mean everything to me. Like it does you." I was over there just talking about the devil.
Oh yeah.
Because I knew damn well once I got back, I don't know. You know, I knew.
Kind of had a feeling something was probably going to happen when you came back.
I wouldn't say the devil at all, but
yeah.
The next afternoon, the day before the murder, Hardy also stopped by his mother Gwen's place and said his intentions out loud.
Hardy was here yesterday, and he said he was going to go kill somebody, but I didn't take him seriously.
Okay.
I'm thinking, but I think Hardy went to kill.
You think he's going to...
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
Because if he killed his dad, he's going to...
Okay. Did he say who he was gonna hurt?
No, he didn't.
He just made that kind of just that one statement that he was gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
He told his own mother he was going to kill somebody, but nobody took him seriously until it was too late. So investigators already have the entire build-up to this crime. What they need now is the night itself. And according to Hardy, it starts with a staring contest.
it's one of those things where possibly it's always been going on or not. I don't know though. I just don't know because
Okay. And then, so something happened last night.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that? What happened?
We were just talking about life, and I asked him about, you know, his friends, and I talked to him about my friends, and he just kept on looking at me. He wouldn't go to bed. He wouldn't go to bed. He was just staring at me. So I started staring at him, and I'm like, and he started, getting weird. So I was giving him shit back, like, don't do it. Try coming at me. If I'm going to stay here, I want to make sure I'm safe. I want to make sure that I'm safe. And I don't know why I think, Don Callisto. I don't even think it's him, but my dad's always up there, but I don't think it's him. But I did what I did, and then, I just decided to burn it, get out of there, and just move on with my life because I'm so gross. Like, my whole life, and him, out of all people. And our family has money, and I just felt like I don't think our family was doing it for money or anything, but I don't know. I just kind of, when I did it, I said that. I'll be honest, but it sucks. I love my family. I love everybody, I love you, and I've never even met you guys.
Well, no, the little bit I heard about your background, you're not a bad person.
No, I'm not. I'm a very good person, Christian, Catholic, and I think,
There's just some stuff going on at home between you and Dad that was causing some conflict, right? Or it seems that way. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah. I mean, there's points where he's just like, "Are you sleeping yet? Are you sleeping yet?" Well, I'm freaking laying on the couch, and then I had to go to the other chair, the red chair in there, and he's sitting over there. "Are you sleeping yet? Why aren't you sleeping? Why aren't you sleeping?" And I'm like, Oh, I had the Bible. And
Okay.
I had the knife. He was getting scared that I had the Bible. He was like, Old Testament, blah, 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 and some weird, like, some crazy shit. So I was just like, well then.
Huh. And did he know that you had a knife on you too, or no? He did?
He did.
Hardy believed that something was wrong with his father that night, and he was in danger. By the time investigators get him to describe what happened next, Hardy had already built an explanation in his own mind for why the killing was necessary.
Do you remember what time all this started at all?
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so you were fighting at 4 o'clock in the morning? That's when you were...
Me and him were talking the whole night, and like... yeah, he said something about my friends going missing, that he did it, and I just lost it.
So after that, what happened then?
I ended up, me and him got in a fight. He hit my shoulder, and
So after you hit him, did he go unconscious at some point?
Yeah.
So he wasn't talking or saying anything anymore?
He was just gone.
All right, and then what happened?
And then I just burned the place, grabbed my pillow, and put it on the stove. Got out of there.
Okay, that's how you started the fire, was with a pillow on the stove?
Yep.
Did you use any accelerant, any gas, or anything like that at all? No.
I just know that there was other stuff in the room that might have
taken off.
Like some flammable type materials or something like that. So when you say the stove, you mean like a wood burning stove or like the oven?
Investigators quietly confirmed this claim about his friends, but as it turns out, none of Hardy's friends were missing. Not a single one. But notice how precisely the rest of his account holds up. Hardy said he started the fire by putting a pillow on the stove and turning on the burners, and when investigators processed the scene, they found the burner controls in the on position with melted pillow material on top. Every physical detail he gives them checks out. It's only the reasons that come from somewhere else entirely. Because when they ask him why he burned the place, whether it was to destroy evidence, his answer has nothing to do with evidence at all.
And why did you start the fire afterwards? What was the reason for that? I mean, was that to cover up evidence?
what I felt in that room. That's why I burned that.
Okay.
Because whatever that presence in that room or out there, it needed to get gone. Nobody else needs to go out there and feel whatever I felt.
Okay.
And in that place, there's some weird shit in there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, weird things happen.
Okay.
Weird things happen, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
can you give an example? I mean, no judgment from us. We're not gonna think you're weird or anything for telling us.
Yeah, like,
trust me. I know weird stuff does happen. Just we're interested, right?
I felt like I was eating other people or something like that. Like, he was feeding me shit. Like, he was feeding me some weird shit, and I didn't know what it was. It could have been some other shit. I don't know, but he'd always want me to eat his food and like weird shit like that. And you'd hear just souls and stuff in those rooms.
Are you hearing any strange voices? Anything like that? Having any hallucinations, delusions? How are you feeling overall?
I don't get hallucinations when I leave that shed. But when I'm in that shed, I get hallucinations.
Okay.
And there's a lot of spirits there. Like, I don't care what anybody says. There's some higher power being out there or whatever.
Okay.
And it possibly took over my dad. I don't think that was him.
Okay. Because he wouldn't normally act that way?
He also tells investigators he believed his father was feeding him things no person should eat, and that something had taken his father over. Which brings the interview to the only question that matters.
But did you feel like Dad, like you were like saving him somehow by doing this, or you're trying to just get rid of this?
No, I saved
thing?
him. I saved him. I literally saved him. He told me, and the person, or I don't know exactly what, the devil.
For the investigators, there's still one piece of evidence that they need to find: the knife. If Hardy's story was accurate, he should be able to tell them exactly what happened to it.
But did you have the knife with you still?
Yeah.
Okay. And where's that now?
That's it's in between Medelia and Lake Crystal.
Okay. Like you threw it out of the car?
Yeah. Okay.
On the highway?
Yeah.
Do you remember what highway that is?
No, it's just outside of Medelia.
Okay. But did you throw that out when you were driving to Medelia or driving back from Medelia?
Driving past it. So like past Medelia into Lake Crystal. So like you get to Medelia and then it's the road kind of going out. So
okay, towards Lake Crystal.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's Highway 60 maybe.
Yep.
Okay. And you just pitched out the window?
Yeah.
Okay. You can remember what it looked like?
It's long. It's a Japanese knife.
And then you got rid of the knife after that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you throw it out the window or what did you?
Mm-hmm. Once he asked about it, I was like,
No.
Because I didn't want somebody like the cops to kill me if like they found a knife in there or whatever. You know, that could have easily happened if I didn't throw that thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the situation I was in,
Mm-hmm.
I could have been a easy George Floydable.
After you left, do you remember talking to other people in places? Did you go some places and talk to some people? Did you seek help?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell me about that at all?
I just said my dad and I killed him.
Okay.
And they wanted to turn me in and I was just like, I can't. I'm scared. Just because I watched my mom get beat up by the police twice. And that's pretty hard on a person.
Hardy wasn't just confessing to strangers as some kind of game or on a whim. He was actually looking for someone, anyone to turn him in. Anyone except the police, who he was convinced would kill him on the roadside if they found a knife in his car. In his mind, everything that day was a threat, including the man he had just killed.
Yeah, I don't want to die.
What's that?
I don't want to die.
You don't want to die?
I don't want to die. Like, I'll do anything. Like,
Yeah.
I will do anything.
Would you?
Why is there two different kinds of waters?
One came from here and one came from my cooler that I keep in my car. So,
yeah. So you guys don't keep two?
No, honestly, when we needed to get that second water for you, we ran out.
yeah.
We have a top here, but he keeps water.
I just keep water in my cooler in my car just in case I need one for myself or whatever, or anybody. So,
I don't know. Is that water like?
Okay. Can you tell us? Are you able to tell us a little bit more about the fight, the physical fight, how it went down? Where did it start?
He got up out of bed and then like came at me like, "Oh yeah, you take," and I had the knife in my hand. Yeah, I was just waiting because I was scared. And once he swung at me, he grabbed my shoulder right away. That's what shoulder right away. Once he did that, I him. It was either he kills me or I kill him in that situation. Like, and so I just did what I had to do. I mean, life or death.
Although Hardy claims he was acting in self-defense, the condition that Bruce was in makes that almost impossible to reconcile with the evidence. He was a 64-year-old disabled man living with a damaged back. And when investigators later spoke with his brother Jeff, what he told them directly challenges Hardy's version.
So I'm trying to understand that because of the allegations that Hardy made, is that he said that Bruce was attacking him and that Bruce was talking about the devil and that kind of stuff. Do you think, with what you know of Bruce, do you think he was physically capable of attacking in some manner Hardy?
No. Bruce couldn't attack anybody. He was... No, not it. That's just a bunch of bullshit that comes up and things that I haven't ever even heard until after this. And I live out here.
Yeah. So on that same note, so as part of this, there's Hardy alleges that Bruce was trying to him, claiming that Bruce wanted to him. So, and with that being said, from what you know of Bruce, whether he told you, whether you saw it, did Bruce have any gay tendencies or favoritism towards the male?
Not even a little bit. And I would say Bruce's days were done quite a bit before. I mean, with his physical shape, there was no screwing. Anyways, he had a really bad back. Mm-hmm. Like he couldn't walk sometimes. And it actually took him from driving the trucks maybe a year even before that.
Okay.
I mean, there's days he couldn't even walk or get up, and he suffered a lot.
An examination of Hardy found no bruising on his shoulder at all, the very injury his whole self-defense claim rested on. As for Bruce being physically capable of attacking anyone, the family had watched him survive something most people don't, and Hardy is the reason he survived it.
I drove him while he had a heart attack 4.5 years ago, and he lived through it. I prayed through it. I cried. He was in the hospital. It was pretty crazy. You know, he's having a heart attack right in front of me.
Years earlier, Bruce had a heart attack so severe he was pronounced dead by a doctor, but he was resuscitated shortly after because Hardy got him to the hospital in time. His family remembers Hardy at that bedside, devastated and praying desperately for his father's life. There was absolutely no mention of the bizarre accusations that Hardy would later make about Bruce. In the evening session, Hardy finally lays out the logic that connects those two moments.
What's that?
I asked him earlier in the night, we were talking about it, I'm like, if I could save you from this thing, would you?
He said yes. But so you knew he had to save Dad.
Well, it's the fact he told me, and then he just kept on getting angrier and angrier and angrier until like he got up and just like, go to bed, or I should have said, whatever. Like, and I just told him, no, that's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry, and I'm not letting that happen again. So get out of here with that. And he grabbed my shoulder and frickin' did what he did right away, and somehow I was able to
yeah. And then at that point, it was time to finish this, time to save Dad, right? Yeah.
I told him, I'm gonna save you. And once I did it, we were both saved. He was laying down.
That's when you felt that kind of weight off your chest or whatever was inside you. You said earlier it left you, right? Yeah.
But yeah, can't take it back now. Nobody can, but I know he's happy. That's all I know.
Hours before the killing, Hardy claims he asked his father whether he would want to be saved, and that his father said yes. Whether that conversation ever actually happened, only one person living knows.
It's very obvious in our conversation earlier and now that you feel terrible about what happened.
I do.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I hate thinking about the moment because I'm never ever going to get that out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I could never get the other thing out of my head, but this is going to be bigger. This is my dad we're talking about.
The next morning, investigators check back in with Hardy, and the certainty he showed the previous day is starting to collapse.
Yes and no, to be honest. I'm kind of just like in this situation where I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's up to you.
Last night,
yep.
All I want is a therapist.
Okay.
And whatever happened, happened. I told you everything I had to tell you already. I'm not going to switch up the story. I'm not going to further go into it. I'm just going to stay with whatever that was, but I could be crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, no,
but then again, I just want a therapist.
Do you think he was dead before you started the fire? Was he breathing? Was he not breathing?
He was dead.
He was dead before you started the fire?
Yeah.
Okay, and how do you know that? What makes you think
He wasn't
that?
moving.
He wasn't moving, wasn't talking.
He was done.
It seems that Hardy is doubting his own mind now. When they ask him a throwaway question about some silver coins found at the property, Hardy seems terrified of this discovery.
Somebody mentioned us that there were some silver coins at the house out there that maybe belonged to your dad. Do you know anything about those? No. No? And you didn't take them?
No.
Don't know anything about that? Okay.
Silver coins?
Yeah, did you guys have a safe or something out there, or a lockbox?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. But you wouldn't know what was in it, or?
No, he had a lock to it, and I didn't know it.
Okay. What's going on?
Boys, you guys brought up.
Okay. Okay, that's causing you some stress?
I'm scared.
Okay.
The devil, and I see Jesus. And the fact I see both. It's pretty, people are looking at me like, wow, you know, whatever, but I see both.
Mm-hmm.
I may sound crazy or whatever, but I can hear both of them talk to me.
Okay. And what are they saying?
The good and the bad, and will you guys save me?
What's that?
Will you save me?
Will we save you? How so? What do you want us to do to save you?
Just not put me in a situation where I'm going to end up like Floyd, killed, all because of some bullshit.
To Hardy, those coins means he's being set up, and when investigators ask why, he can't explain it. That's the point. His paranoia attaches danger to whatever is close by, the sleeping pills, the coins, and 3 nights earlier, his father.
When I go there, I don't know, you know, I want a defender.
Mm-hmm. You do, yeah.
I want a lawyer.
Yeah.
I want things because I feel like if I don't have them, then I'm just going to be one of those people that doesn't get to tell my story. I don't know what's happening in Minnesota, but when I went on my drive, the whole state just shined up like nothing I've ever seen before in my whole entire life. Like, the sun, it was a beautiful day, all that good stuff, all that crazy stuff. Am I just, you know, I'm not thinking I'm somebody that I'm not, but things are pretty crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, that's for sure.
And hopefully I can save us. And I want to make this one world peace. Love. Everybody needs Jesus in their life.
What's that?
I said everybody needs Jesus in their life, no matter who they are. And as soon as I brought him back into my life, just this weird shit started happening, and I don't know why or what, but God is grateful. God is merciful, and hell's a scary place. Especially when you live with it.
Hardy asks for a lawyer, and on his way out the door, his delusion goes from saving his father to saving the entire state of Minnesota and then achieving world peace. His last words to the investigators are, "Hell's a scary place, especially when you live with it." On January 27, 2021, Hardy Wills Traxler was charged in LeSueur County District Court with second-degree murder and first-degree arson, and he was held without bail. A judge ruled that Hardy was incompetent to stand trial. The prosecution was put on hold, and he was civilly committed to a state mental health facility for treatment. But even there, Hardy kept confessing, this time to a fellow patient named Ashley Rennell. Months later, she contacted investigators, and the version of that night she says Hardy told her contains details he never gave police.
I was told that he said that his father called him the devil. Yeah, he said he called him the devil, and that and he was drinking too much and doing a bunch of like pills and stuff, and his dad did something where his dad called him the devil and or Satan's spawn or something like that, and then Satan's spawn, I don't know, but then he ended up the knife, and he said, "Ashley, do you understand people don't die right away when you with a knife?" I go, I don't know, because I've never been at the point, and that's crazy, Hardy. You know, so I'm usually I worked for for like 10 years, so I mean, I know how to calm down and just listen to, you know, people talk and let their stuff out and, like, be very empathetic.
Yep.
So I just held my composure. Like, yeah, no, I don't understand. Never been in that position in my life. He goes, no. He said, you killed me. And then I know he's still alive, but then I light it with the tools on top of the stove. And then one of my friends called, and when he drove away, because he was going to drive to Duluth, I guess. And he said that his friend called and said his house is on fire and he probably needs to go back because the police are looking for him. He went and got McDonald's and then drove back. Like, how do you eat something and then drive back to the fire that you started?
Although none of this can be verified, it directly contradicts what Hardy told investigators on day 2. But it rattled Ashley enough that Hardy later tracked down her phone number and called her on Thanksgiving. So she went to the police. And she wasn't the only person Hardy was calling. On August 9, 2021, his mother Gwen phoned the lead investigator with a very different message than the one she'd given on the morning of the murder.
I didn't mean to say Hardy was going to kill somebody.
Okay. How did this all come about then, Gwen?
Because I had a long talk with my son Josh. And Hardy told me what happened that day.
7 months after telling deputies that Hardy had warned her he was going to kill someone, Gwen tried to take it back, after long phone calls with Hardy from the facility, in which he gave her his version of events. The recorded call shows exactly how far Hardy's narrative was reaching, even from inside a locked ward, because the family that watched him unravel was slowly being pulled into the story he had built. But one member of that family never wavered. In March of 2022, Bruce's brother Jeff sat down for his follow-up statement and finished it with the only description of the victim this case ever really needed.
As I think back on Bruce, he was a kind of a big, gentle giant. He didn't do much. Spent a lot of time on his back because he couldn't do much. I miss my brother, but that's the way it is.
In October of 2021, doctors determined that Hardy had been restored to competency, and the criminal case resumed. The Minnesota Attorney General's office took over the prosecution on referral from the LeSueur County Attorney, and on September 23, 2022, Hardy pled guilty in LeSueur County District Court to 1 count of second-degree intentional murder in the death of his father. As part of the plea agreement, the first-degree arson charge was dismissed. On November 18, 2022, a district court judge sentenced Hardy to 25.5 years in prison, with credit for the 664 days he had already spent in custody. Under Minnesota law, he is expected to serve roughly the first 16 years in prison, with the remainder on supervised release. He was transferred to the St. Cloud Correctional Facility, where he remains today.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. 85% of our viewers aren't subscribed, so if this is the kind of content you come back for, just hit subscribe. It's the single biggest thing you can do to support the channel. If you want to keep watching more, check out one of the most intense cases we've ever covered right here, or catch up on our latest upload right here.